The Jets are in control for the first time in 5 years. They're off to a 2-0 start in the playoff series. How have they done it? What do we expect next? To talk to that, here's Cheryl Pounder. Cheryl, Connor Hellebuyck gave up just 1 goal on 22 shots last night. It snapped his streak of giving up 3 or more goals in 10 straight playoff games. Is this now the most dangerous version of playoff Hellebuyck the Jets have seen in years?
Yes, I believe it is, Gino, because we're also seeing the most dangerous playoff team. And when you look at that, there's such a confidence that goes along with that, right? And you learn from the past, and Connor Hellebuyck, who's going to win a back-to-back Vezina, is getting it done right now. You can look at that first game, right? We can look at it and say, okay, everyone was nervous. And the ceiling is falling right now. Are we seeing the Connor Hellebuyck of the past in that first 10 minutes or the first 10 shots on goal, the first 21 minutes of the game? But how about the breakaway save that came next? And to me, that's certainly a mindset. When you have the ability to reset the temperature in your game, and I think that is a turning point right there. You're giving your team an opportunity to win. And then all of a sudden he comes in the next game, 21 of 22. But as an athlete, when you look behind you and you know that you're going to get that save, it breeds a confidence that just sort of goes right throughout the lineup. So yes, I do think that we are looking at a guy that can get it done for this team, but it's about the whole team right now. They're connected, they're consistent, and they're resilient.
All right, let me take you to the overall attitude. The last 2 years, the Jets won the opener in the playoff series. Then they lost game 2, and they were eliminated in 5 both years. Reporters brought that up last night, before last night's game, and Scott Arniel said, I'm not even talking about that. I want to look ahead. Kyle Connor was asked how important it was to win game 2, and he said, I don't know if it's a mental boost, but we're aware of it coming into it. How important for an athlete is getting this monkey off your back, and does this now make this entire group more dangerous moving forward?
Absolutely, Gino. You think anyone wanted to talk to me after we lost to the Americans? No way, right? I didn't want to talk about it because it wasn't what I was focused on. I was focused on that next game. And I think for these guys, and I said it earlier, it's resilience. Jim Montgomery said it. He said, listen, their best players, they're making one more play. And that tells me if you're going to make one more play, you're confident. And when you're confident as an athlete, it changes the landscape, not only of your individual play, but that ricochets and cascades right down the entire lineup. And that's what you're seeing from this group. You're seeing a lights up Stanley hit on Kyrou, right? And the timeliness of that. Or how about Sandberg? 2 huge PKs in the second period. It's that confidence that breeds itself up and down the lineup. This is a great team on paper. I know I said at the trade deadline, I wish they had bolstered that second line, but there's that question mark around doing too much, leaving it alone when you think it's working. And for this particular group right now, they're confident. You can see it right from the top through to the bottom, whether it's Josh Morrissey and the way he's playing. Collectively, having been an athlete, recognizing that the belief within the room is one of the most dangerous things to step on the ice. And when you watch Connor play and those 2 game-winning goals, right, getting lost in coverage, how does that happen? When you're a guy like him who's put up only almost 100 points, right? So to me, that's happening because of this confidence and the belief that this is their time right now, and we've seen it all year, really.
Let's talk about the trickle down now, Cheryl. Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor have combined for 9 points in the first 2 games. That's what you expect from these guys. Connor's got the winners in both games so far. They've got 4 of the Jets' 7 goals so far. All right, trickle down. Could this open up things further down the lineup because the Blues have to spend more time watching these 2 and these 2 alone?
Absolutely. Look up matchups. I mean, if you're a coach, you're looking at matchups. And yeah, when the Jets had the final say with the home ice advantage, but look at the matchup against Thomas or Kyrou, and you look at that top line, whether it was on Parayko and Fowler, they won those matchups. But now all of a sudden you're looking down your lineup. I'm looking right at Adam Lowry. I think you win a Stanley Cup and you need a third line. I think he's one of, if not the best third line center in the league. He's just shy of 59% in the dot and what he does on both sides of the puck. And you look at that, though, Gino, and you say to yourself, you have to be able to complement one another, and you have to be able to strike when the iron's hot. And I think, that top line is going right now. That cascades, because now all of a sudden they've set that next line up to really be able to pounce. Now all of a sudden you've got the third line. And when you're going to win, or if you're going to win, it has to be that next man up. mentality. And I think that the Jets have this because they recognize their roles. They understand their roles. There's a connectedness here, and it does trickle down, and it's trickling down right now. You see it in their D pairings as well. I've often said, Sandberg, to me, what an outstanding season he's had. We can talk about Josh Morrissey, but you need the depth. So for me, it's cascading, but it's the confidence and belief that each and every line, each and every individual can have a difference when they step out on the ice.
When you stand there and watch them, we were all saying the same thing about the Winnipeg Jets. Yes, incredible, record-breaking regular season for them, tremendous success, but what happens in the playoffs? We were all sitting there, show me in the playoffs. Personally, I get the sense it's almost like a slow-moving freight train that's now picking up speed, and all of a sudden it's like, man, who's going to stop these guys? Is that just me hyperbolizing, or do you see that with these guys?
I see it. I see the snowball on the hill right now. We don't have snow, and it's picking up, right? And it keeps picking up. It keeps picking up, and by the end of it, you hope you're not sitting at the bottom of the hill and it takes you out, right? And I really think that that's what this team has found. And at the beginning of the year, as an analyst, you're saying, yeah, you know, is it enough punch, and is it enough of this? But when you're connected, and I talked about it, you look at their goals against over the course of the year and all their underlying metrics. Well, throw those out the window for a second. Let's just talk about just the belief in the group. Well, now you know that you're connected, so you protect the middle of the ice, right? Now you know that your guys are firing. But to me, it's the resilience. So you're down 5-3 in game one, and what do? You find a way. And as an analyst at the beginning of the year, I'm like, do I take them as a cup contender? President's Trophy. And finally by deadline, I'm like, yes, this is the real deal right now. And you're seeing it. And the snowball is moving right now, and they've got to keep adding the snow, or they got to get the incline's got to be steeper. But I do believe that they're on track right now to just boulder down, because it's a connected lineup. It's up and down, everyone doing what they need to do. Look at Iafallo, right, in the absence of Velarde. So just that next player up and get on the toboggan, get down the hill.
All right, speaking of going downhill, I've got to ask you about the Blues. After an incredible 12-game winning streak to help them clinch a playoff spot, and had all of us saying no one wants to face the Blues in the opening round, now they've lost 5 of their last 6 through the regular season and now the start of the playoffs. Here's the question, Cheryl. Is this just a blip? Are they completely spent? Or were they just playing over their heads and now they've come crashing back to earth?
I don't think that you're ever playing over your head when you have that kind of run. Right? You look at the Habs right now. If you are doing it, you're doing it. And this is why there's that certain piece that no one can put their finger on, and it's called chemistry, and it's called the belief.
Yeah.
You can have the best team on paper. You can run all the underlying metrics you want, and then you don't win. Or then you could get this storybook Cinderella story where you got a group of guys, the room is connected, and they just find a way. And so for me, they're going to go down. If they're going to go down, it's going to be tooth and nail. They're going to scratch. They're going to claw. You saw the first 2 periods of that opening game. The Jets poured it on in the 3rd period to be able to take over. So there's belief in that room as well, which is what makes the playoffs so entertaining, is because they are going to battle. They are going to sacrifice. They are going to elicit the intangible. They are going to go head to head. I just think that the Winnipeg Jets right now are the better team to be able to get to that next level.
But what you're saying is it ain't over yet. The Blues have scored 4 goals
over.
in the series.
It's
3 of them
never
have
over.
Yeah. No, not yet. Well, it's over at some point, just not yet. I was just saying the Blues have got 4. Yeah, the Blues have got 4 goals in these playoffs. 3 of them have come on the power play. At 5-on-5, the Jets right now, so far, are completely shutting them down. The series now shifts to St. Louis. Game 3 goes on Thursday.